Welcome to the TAOUTDOORS fishing show. Well, women have babies delivered. Men have boxes of stuff delivered. I got delivery of terminal gear. It always worries me when they say terminal. It means like the end of something. It is indeed the end tackle. We all lose bits of tackle. I've put an order in. There is a lot of stuff in there, bits and pieces, all for making up traces. Could be swirls, could be hooks, all the nuts and bolts you guys use. Scissors ready, let's rip it open. The best bit about opening the box is that first fold or two. Right, I just looked in my tackle box and realised I've got so much junk in there, it's about time I got some new stuff made up. I've run out of sidewinders. These are those lures we use a lot of, use them for bass. Now they said they got this new thing called super real sand eels, the skerries. In case people from abroad don't know, the skerries are a bunch of sandbanks down off the south coast of England, and it's very, very good for, well, a lot of big flatfish, turbot, plaice, bass, that sort of thing. And sand eels live over there, and sand eels are what these predators eat. These are the new ones. I've never seen these before, and that's honest truth. It says here, that's what they look like. I won't take them out of the packet. It says they're called the Skerries eel, 6 inches, 25 grams, so you can cast these as well. And it says, deadly for all predatory fish. I certainly hope so, because that's what we're going to be used for. Now, this is a new one to me. These are coils to make up traces. You know when you go, if you go sea fishing, either from the shore, or even if you're out in a boat, you can eat some pretty tough stuff. We don't have a lot of toothy critters over here that live on the bottom. Maybe tope have tiny little teeth. Obviously, if you're fishing in a foreign country, you'd need to put wire if you're putting big baits on the bottom. I'm going to use, we used to call these skeins. I don't know what they call them nowadays, it's called coils. What you do is you make a length of trace up, and we're going to be doing some films of making traces up. This would be the average for UK bottom fishing, 250 pounds, okay, and 150 pounds. A couple of coils of those, I can make a load of traces up from them. So this is 10 metres long. So at least if I want to make metre long traces, I can make 10 traces out of this. It's 1.20 millimetre diameter. So you can either knot this, or you can use crimp sleeves and crimp it. So that's good news for me. This is another average one I would use. Never heard of this one before. It's a new one. It's called I think it's Asso. I'd hate to say arso. You guys tell me what you think that's called. Ultraflex. Arso Ultraflex. Lovely, lovely. Can't wait to use it. It says low stretch, extra strong, very supple. This is 0.70 mil. There's a 50 metre coil on here. So that 60 pound, that's what we're going to be using mostly down the south coast. And there's another one. It's not Casso. It is definitely Asso. 50 pound as well, that's 0.65, so I'll be giving that a go. It's sort of a biting piece for stuff like skates, rays, all the bottom feeding fish. My goodness, there's a load of stuff in here. This is, my goodness, let's pile through the big stuff first. Oh, this stuff we've used before, you've probably seen some of our beach films. This is called Sunset. It's got amnesia ? Now, amnesia was one with the memory-free monofilament that they use on leaders. If you're beach fishing, amnesia does seem to be the go-to for all beach fishing, snoods, traces and stuff like that. These come in 328 feet, 100 metres in English, 25 pounds and 15 pounds. So 25 pounds is 11.4 kg, and well, it doesn't really, I can't see a diameter on that one, that's a bit stupid. This one's got made in the USA. It says ideal for leaders and traces, shooting and running lines. I don't shoot many lines. I don't know what that means. That's obviously an American term there. But that is, again, a brand new product to me. I've not used that one at all. Oh yes. These are what we want on there, Mike.
Yeah, they're the ones.
They are the kiddie, the proverbial kiddie. That's a sidewinder. We used to call these the chubby chunkies.
Super shads.
They are super shads. They are absolutely brilliant. Used recently in one of our bass films. You'll see with Wayne Comben we use these, and we really had a red hot session for bass. I don't know, to about 10 pounds. They just suck them back. Unbelievable. And good for casting off the shore as well. That looks like, oh, this one's called a bass pack. So that's got white, natural, pearl and blue. So there's 4 of the super shads in there. They call it the bass pack. If you're asking me which colour, I say, Mike, that's slightly different colour we normally use, isn't it? That's a different blue.
Yeah, slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, and the hooks are, on the back it says, a mustard ultra point. This is a new super solid colour. Now, I'd say, looking at those two, which one do you think we usually use, Mike? Left or right?
Left.
This one?
No, my left.
This one?
Yeah.
I reckon it's that one. I reckon it's
you
that
reckon?
pearl blue. Yeah, yeah. There's a very slight difference in the colour of those two. And this one's got a slight shimmy to it. So there you go. I obviously ordered a lot of blue and white. So I'm not telling Porky Pies that is our red hot bastard. There we go. That's a mackerel one. That one I don't think we got, but that could be a good one as well. Got these little coils. Here's a coil of wire. That's 40 kg wire. It's a cabled, it's nylon covered. Okay, now, I won't say I'm a lover of nylon covered wire because if it gets in their teeth like this and strips the plastic down, it balls it up, makes a weak point and can snap. Okay for a smallish fish, maybe 20, 30 pounds, something like that. But even though that's 40 kg, I will use it on light tackle. I will not use it for big fish. Some big meat hooks there. I'm just going to hold these 8/0s, 10/0s. I've used these before. Very, very, very strong. What I do is, if I use it for shark or common skate, big fish over 100 pounds, that's quite a deep barb there. So the distance from just the outside of the shank there, my thumbnail is, to the point of that barb up the top here, you have to make a hole in a fish's jaw that big to pop it over. That's a lot of pulling power. So I generally crush or file those big barbs down. And to be honest, I can't even remember the last time I lost a fish because I used barbless hooks. Just keep tight to it, you'll be okay. Now there you are. They're the brass crimps. They look like nickel-plated brass crimps. 100 in there. That obviously, these will go with the wire. I would guess there, they would go making up traces with the wire. So those two can go together. In fact, these are the Storm ones. Size 4. They're single. They're not a mini double sleeve. They're a single sleeve. So I would crush those with a cup to point tool. That means there's the jaws. There's a cup here, and there's a point that pushes in there. Normally, I would use for mini double sleeves, which are figure 8. You know, it's like 2 of those together, if you like. I would crimp those, but you're going to see all this when we actually do some trace making. But they're nice big ones. They obviously go for the bigger lines. There's some of the old Nomura Fluorocarbon. That is 50 pound test. That's pretty heavy. That's 165 yards, 150 metres of Nomura Fluorocarbon. Probably use that for the bass fishing. I told you there's a lot of stuff in there. Man alive, seek and destroy, animal, elephant pulling swivels. They're a crane nickel swivel as a 5/0, 25 in a pack. And you can see there, those I would definitely use for shark and or conger traces. And the regular 1/0 barrel swivel, there's 25 in there, just bronze barrel swivels, always handy, just general bottom fishing, conger, rays and stuff like that. These I'll probably hold back for sharks. Okay, these are down to 6/0. These are an Aberdeen. An Aberdeen is a long, finer wire hook. I'll just show you the difference between these ones. We used to call these meat hooks. They still call them meat hooks. So you can see a very, very thick wire. That obviously is a much bigger hook. Of course it is. I will use that for taupe, common skate, blue shark, maybe pool beagles, not the big pool beagles, but you know, the pack fish of up to about 80 to 150 pounds. And that's the Aberdeen size, which you would use squid. You could put a big ragworm up that if you wanted to, but they're generally a fine wire hook. So you wouldn't fish that with, say, a 50 pound rod and reel because the pressure you put on will probably spring open that point there. They're springy hooks. Right, some small running booms here, which you clip your lead onto. Slides up and down the line, so those are dead handy. You can get very long ones. If I'm going to fish rough ground, I use ones like this made out of coat hanger wire because they're expendable. These ones I would use over clean open ground, sand, mud, gravel, that sort of thing, where you don't intend or hope not to lose any gear. And obviously with a little link clip there, you can clip off leads on and off quickly. There is, well, they call that a Manta Hook, and very similar again to the Aberdeen. Now people do email us and ask us, what's the best average fish you can catch, you know, hook size? What, they're all different. Big fish, big hook, small fish, small hook. But I would say that a 2/0 hook on an Aberdeen would be about the right size for average fishing, just for stuff like plaice, flounders, small codling. You can get quite a good sized codling on these hooks. Just general beach fishing work. I possibly wouldn't use that from the boat so much, but more for beach work, a 2.0 Aberdeen, regardless of make. I'm not plugging this make, I'm just saying this is what I was sent. It's very, very good. That's a Kamasan 3.0, a B940. The Kamasan's generally really good hooks. We use them carp fishing as well. They will probably be my initial go-to hook. That one's going to go on first. And then these they're called a Stinger in a 1.0 and a size 1 and a size 2. Again, small fish, whiting off the shore, pouting off the shore, black bream out in the boat, that sort of size. I've got a selection of, and finally guys, a selection of assorted and very fine wire. I've not seen them this time before. Different sort of spreader booms here. That is an enormous one. Okay, so your line comes down here, ties on there. You've got a little spring clip there that your lead clips on. So it's main line here, lead there, then a big boom. Now you could have a flowing trace on that. We can have a short little drop of snood down there because it won't swing back and be on the main line. As long as you keep the snood, if you're fishing vertically, shorter than the length of that boom, it can't go back in and tangle. If you're drifting, you can fish a long flowing trace and that would be ideal. There's another type of boom there. It's just a rigid plastic one with a swivel, just a link swivel, a little snap there. Again, line comes down here, comes out the other end, leg goes on there. But for this one, you need a bead, a swivel, and then whatever length of trace you want. That's a very similar one, much more flexible. I'd use that for something like pollock fishing on the drift. And that's the traditional, if you can see that one there. That one I would use nearly all the time. That's a French boom. It's called a French boom. Same principle. Your line comes down here, the lead comes off there, and your trace goes over here. It means when you drop down vertically, that the trace doesn't spin up round here. The two come down separately as it goes vertically through the water. Bunch of booms, guys. An empty box. I've got a bucket load of stuff. Keep watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. I am going to be making some traces up, show you all the different traces for the different types of species and techniques you can use. Thanks for watching Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Hit that subscribe button. I fear I might have to order some more stuff.